Hey, beautiful friends, beautiful souls. Today is Tuesday, May 28th, 2024, and I hope that you're having a beautiful day. I'm coming at you from Sedona, Arizona, right in the vortex, baby, right in the vortex. And it is time to vibe with the tribe and feed that there prediction diction, friends. I hope you're excited as I am today, because I got some interesting stuff as we venture into the new earth today and what lies ahead in the future when we arrive to what is referred to as perhaps many names, the golden age, the new earth nation. It's going to be interesting. Right now, you may actually begin to notice that you're feeling a little different, perhaps more likely feeling a little bit lighter. Perhaps you're seeing things and thinking much more clearly than you have been in the past. That eclipse energy that came in just brightened our vision a whole lot more. And now you should have a lot more days where you're feeling much better and much more joyful. Welcome to the greater shift, friends, or the greatest shift of mankind ever, actually. We're in it. We just stepped into it, actually, not that long ago. This has been spoken about for hundreds of years, thousands of years, definitely thousands of years, passed down through the tribes, the indigenous elders, and passed down in so many different prophecies from so many different places. So this is a time in these prophecies that's spoken about where Mother Earth and humanity is going to shift into this golden age. Or the new earth. It's also called the new earth, and again, many different names. But is this all true, or is it all just conspiracy and wishful thinking? Well, I assure you it definitely is true. I assure you that it is indeed on our doorsteps as well, and it may be scary to some. That's just part of the process. But more than ever, we should be excited, friends. Very excited for what's to come. It is the fall of the evildoers who have had control and a grip on humanity for way too long. And it's here, baby. It's here. It's only going to get better. So what exactly does this mean? What exactly will it take for us to get to that point, to that golden age, where all of humanity comes together in pure love? I've been talking about it for 20 years. Spirit's been telling me since I was in my late teens, actually early teens, that humanity will basically be forced into coming together. And that will be magical, even though we're forced to, but that's what we need, a coming together. So there's so much more that's yet to happen. So today we're going to take a look at the good stuff, because I assure you there is a lot of good stuff, but also, of course, there's a lot of good coming our way. But we still have to struggle through the fight, through the not so good stuff. That's still there. It's a given. So today I'm going to take you on a glimpse into the future, as we do each and every week, of course. This time, gazing into my golden crystal ball. I pulled that one out of the closet today. My golden crystal ball that only reveals the good stuff. Of course, I got other stuff that you're going to have to hear too, because we have to take the good with the bad, right? But mainly all the good stuff. The future of the healing, the medical systems. What's that look like? New technology breakthroughs. How we're going to travel in the future. Breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. The way we travel in the future again, and the currencies that we use to purchase things in the future. We're going to look into all those areas. And even though today's show, of course, is mainly going to be focused on our future Earth and the amazing good things that are going to soon arise, or are already arising, really, there are also, of course, some events over the past week and predictions flowing into fruition that I'm also going to have to address today, because that's what we do each and every Tuesday when we have tea together, because it's tea time, baby. But there's more to this. So what else do we have coming into fruition? Well, let's talk about what happened over the past week real quick, because we're only going to touch on the past week a little bit. Like I said, we're mainly focused on the new earth today. It's going to be exciting, but so many things, again, still flowing into fruition from past predictions. It was several weeks back that Spirit told us that we would see, it was actually a few years ago that Spirit told us we would see future wars and fights and issues revolved around our water. Water is life, friends. Therefore, these issues must be addressed so that our future Earth, when we get there, everybody, and this will be the case, everybody will have fresh, clean, drinking, safe water in our future Earth. Just over the past month, Spirit warned of specific attacks, including cyber-related attacks on our water facilities. Well, lo and behold, friends, if you haven't heard, right here in the U.S., the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, just put out a big warning of an attack on our water infrastructure. Could this actually be a reality? And what about the water, again, on the future Earth? Where's that coming from? What's that look like? It's actually quite exciting, friends. Remember the late Matthew Perry. May you rest in peace, Matthew Perry. The weird things and the events that took place and played out right before his passing and exit from this lifetime. We talked about that, of course. And Spirit confirmed to us, and I told you, that he was purposely taken out for whatever reason. I don't know why exactly, but he was taken out. Now, did you just hear recently there's been a criminal investigation into the passing of Matthew Perry launched in Hollywood? Don't you find that to be a little bit interesting? So I told you that people in Hollywood were going to fall and things were going to trickle. And wait until you see what the future Hollywood looks like. It's going to be quite interesting, if it even exists, because it really does, but it doesn't. And I'll explain exactly what that looks like today. So, look at what just happened, too. I told you about a fall Hollywood and truth coming out in Hollywood. I told you this a couple years back. That is going to be mind-blowing. And we saw, we know that something shady was happening with Matthew Perry, of course. We talked about it. Everybody felt it. But now there's a criminal investigation being launched. How's that going to turn out? And then we see what's happening with P. Diddy Combs, right? And his fake apology that he put out to people. So it's happening. Not just in Hollywood, but the music industry. You got to remember, they're both connected as a part of the web of darkness. That web of darkness slowly being dismantled as we speak. Speaking of celebrity passings, remember right after the passing of Lisa Marie Presley, I stated that there would be a big fight over Graceland with the potential of a temporary closure of Graceland. Now, have you just recently heard the news that some major corporation tried to pull some kind of fast, sneaky thing by auctioning off the estate? Kind of crazy, huh? It's been stopped for now, but for how long? You may also recall a while back, I used the term going postal, a term that came about in the 80s after postal workers started to go a little, cray-cray and pow-pow on their coworkers. That was a big thing, and that's where that term was derived from back in the 80s here in the United States. I don't know if they use it in other countries, but they used it here. Sad for sure. And Spirit told us recently that we would see similar things, not necessarily at post offices, but employees returning to work and being a little cray-cray. And this just happened in Philadelphia last week. In Philadelphia, somebody returned to their work situation, their workplace, to open fire. Sad indeed. We even saw another horror play out, unfortunately, in the movie theaters. Something Spirit kept telling us that we were going to see things within the movie theaters. And we did a week or two ago. Spirit said we'd see another one. And we just saw that real life horror play out in the movie theaters. It was like a real life horror movie in the movie theaters. Sad indeed. Both these tragedies highlight the mental illness crisis in America and throughout the globe. So, what does this look like when we enter the new earth? And what is the deal exactly with all this mental illness? We're going to talk about that. So much worry, so much concern revolved around both our economies, the fiat currencies and the dollar, the US dollar slowly deteriorating and falling apart. We see fiat currencies appearing to crash in value, again, like and then we also, like American dollar, but we also see BRICS, BRICS evolving with the whole gold-backed currency that they're coming up with. That includes several different countries, as you know. That's what the spelling is. Brazil, Russia, and, you can figure it out on your own. BRICS. So BRICS, we have all this coming. So we also have a push for digital currency, CBDCs. Thankfully, I don't know if you're aware of this, the House just passed a new bill here in the United States to ban CDBCs exactly the way they should be doing. But is this even a reality? What currency are we going to be using on the new Earth? I bet you want to know what that is. It's not going to be what you expect. It's not going to be what any of us expect. Remember, we discussed a past story of not so good people having not so good intentions sneaking onto military bases with a plan, an agenda, right? We talked about it. That was last year. I think we talked about that, and it was happening, or maybe earlier this year. Time does fly. Spirit told us it would continue and problems would arise around attacks within military bases. Well, this almost became a reality, and part of it did become a reality once again in Virginia. And the story is very alarming, to say the least. And being we are also peering into the future of the new Earth, where will the military stand on the new Earth? Will they even stand? Will there even be military? Because there's not going to be any conflicts. So therefore, we don't really need any military now, do we? But will the military exist, and what level will they exist? Will they even stand on the new Earth? Remember back in 2020, folks were worried there was going to be a ban on vitamins and supplements. All right, I take quite a few different supplements myself. So far, we've seen attempts, of course, and a lot of talk and a lot of chatter about it, especially in other countries, with basically no luck on their part in banning these things, thankfully. But actually, at the same time, could this become a reality in the future where you can't purchase supplements and vitamins? It's a big fear. A lot of people were talking about this back in 2020, especially because it's when they started the push of, oh, supplements are dangerous, blah, blah, blah. So will we be able to buy supplements and vitamins in the future? I'm going to tell you about that and how that's going to look on the future Earth as well. Another one of those anomalies showed up once again, right down there, coming up from the Arctic into the Atlantic Ocean. Remember, we talked about that. That happened again. And I mentioned that I believe I know exactly what they're doing with that and what it is. But now I have a little bit more information on what's happening and what this is going to bring during the summer months and the autumn months to United States, especially, but the whole country, the whole world, the whole globe. It's going to have a big effect. I'm going to tell you exactly why and how crazy it actually is. What's happening, it's just unbelievable to me. More information. We're going to talk about all of this today. The future rise of Atlantis that people talk a lot about, and a whole lot more on this episode number 119 of Tuesday's Prediction Update. And beautiful friends, y'all know what time it is.
It's tea time, baby.
Beautiful friends, beautiful souls, Satnam, welcome, hola. I hope you're having a great day once again, and I welcome you to my channel, back to my channel. And if you're new here and you want accurate predictions, prophecy, truth, and great content, and you want to vibe with the tribe, remember you got to smash that subscribe, the bell, and all so that you get notifications. And remember, I'm here each and every Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday if there's a glitch, but every week for tea time, where we look at world events, how they may or may not relate to predictions and prophecy, with new predictions each and every week. This week, we're venturing into the new Earth. Quite a different topic this week to change things up just a little bit. Down below in the description, you'll find the link to my newsletter, free newsletter, which the new one will be going out this week, later this week for June. You're not going to want to miss my June predictions too, which should be available to premiere Thursday evening, Friday at the latest, but hopefully I'll have it done by Thursday. Also, you'll find all the links to my social media down below as well, including the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit community. I thank all the supporters who make this free content possible for everybody else, allowing me the gift of being able to do something I love to do and having the time and being able to prepare time to be able to do so. I thank you. Couldn't do it without you. I appreciate it. One other thing before we move on to episode 119. Beware of imposters. Beware of the false prophets posing to be me online. Or others, too. It's not just me. It happens to anybody. Almost everybody and anybody. Where they pretend to be me. They fake the profile. They'll message you. And people fall for this. And I say it all the time. And the people that are falling for it obviously aren't watching the show every week. But they're following me on some social media. It usually happens on Facebook and Instagram, which they mainly don't do anything about it. That's why it happens there all the time. I look forward to my future prediction coming into fruition when Facebook and Instagram no longer exist the way it does now. Because it won't in the new earth, I guarantee you that. So shall we move on, beautiful friends, with episode, and I'm done my tea, so I don't have no more tea. I got some water. But episode number 119, friends of
Tea time, baby.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take the both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life, and that's what we're talking about. Some of the facts of life, and some of the facts of the events in prophecy that are going to happen regardless of how amazing the new earth is, because it is amazing, and I'm going to tell you all about that today. We also all know very clearly by now, some, maybe all of that in which the evildoers wish upon us and the rest of our fellow humans. We know that they wish to place a mark of the beast. It's in the prophecies. Full control over humanity. They want more conflicts, less people, and of course more money and power for their greedy old selves. Locking humans into their smart cities, blocking access to travel, and even blocking access from visiting national parks. But will it happen? Not the way they believe and wish it to happen. Yes, we know. This is just some of what they want. They want a lot more than that, friends. And again, we're dealing with psychopaths here without a doubt. But you know what I say to them, to those crazy psychopaths? I don't give a flying fudge what they want. What I care about is what we want and what's for the best of our planet. That's what's most important. Not only that, how amazing our possibilities are and how amazing those possibilities will come into fruition in the very near future. It's really an exciting time to be on our planet. Think of yourself, your life. Think of it. Think of everything around you. Everything that goes on in our lives as a battery, right? A battery. A battery conducts an electrical charge, right? Electric, of course, being energy. An energy, a type of energy that comes, around us. We have energy within us, around us. There's energy in everything. So a battery just generates a type of its own specific frequency, its own specific vibration that gives us a charge. Now, again, everything around us, including ourselves, are just a different type of battery. That's all. We're just a different type of battery, or more so, we're vibrating on a different vibration and frequency. That flowers over here are just vibrating on a different frequency than me, my microphone, and even yourself. So now, in order for a battery to work properly, right? Think about this. It needs what exactly? What does a battery need to work properly? It needs a balanced equal polarity of both positive and negative. Not a little bit more of one or the other. It has to be a complete equal balance of those positive and negative polarities. So we'll say, for example, vibration instead. We'll say vibration, positive, negative vibration. Without equal polarity, what happens? Without equal polarity, the battery is not going to emit any juice or any energy or any vibration or any frequency. If there's too much negative polarity or vibration in that battery, what's going to happen? Well, of course, we're not going to get any juice out of that battery at all. No flow, no vibration, no energy. Now, think about the opposite of that. None of the good vibration that is needed in order to power anything up if there's too much negative. No positive at all. Brings us all down. Now what happens if there's too much positive polarity in the battery? Think about that. That battery is either going to likely blow up in your face. That's likely what's going to happen, actually. Specifically, that's what's going to happen with too much positive polarity. So there has to be, once again, a proper balance of polarity. Now, again, think of yourself. Think of everything that surrounds us and everything you wish to manifest in your future your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. Throwing out too much positive is going to cause things to backfire, maybe even blow up in your face. Too much focus, too much negative vibration, and you're going to go backwards instead of forwards. Unfortunately, the majority in this metaphor are going backwards on the planet, unfortunately. But that's starting to turn. Their backwards stance is slowly coming to a stop before we begin and humanity begins to move forward. It's the best explanation and metaphor that I could come up with because life literally is a battery. This highly affects our ability in moving forward to the new earth. And if it doesn't change, we don't move ever so quickly like we'd wish to. So our big eclipse that we had back in April, the big one, was actually a marker point in the time of our new beginning, even though there's many marker points, by the way. It's not the marker point. If we were to pick the marker point, I'd say that was probably going back to 2012. This was one of these big marker points, that eclipse that happened in April. And that was marking off the beginning of a whole new level in vibration on our planet. Then we had all the sun flares come in, light codes, and it's been quite amazing and overwhelming at the same time. A vibration where we are becoming more balanced and not drowning in either the positive or the negative polarities, as we seem to be doing now. Drowning. People are either drowning in the negative polarity or they're drowning in the positive polarity. There's very few that are floating in the balance in between. But now we're getting our life preservers, right? We can look at it that way. We're starting to get our life preservers. We're coming to, instead of moving backwards, we're coming to a stop, and instead of drowning, we're going to start floating to the top. Again, the best metaphors I could possibly come up with you for how everything really works. Because really everything is exactly like that. Exactly like a battery. And everything has to be equally balanced. You know, I had somebody I knew once upon a time, they used to be love, 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 love. And I just thought it was so fake. I'm like, don't you ever have a bad day? Oh, of course I do. I'm like, well, you never show it. You know, sometimes it's just too much. It's good to be loving and caring, but, you know, we all have struggles. We all have emotions. We all have things. So that's just too much. And then, of course, there's people that are just way too negative. Plugged into that negative polarity, which causes negative things to happen all around them and in their lives. So be that battery, friends. Be the battery. That big old 9-volt battery with equal polarities. And you'll find much more balance in your life. But that's where we're heading. And again, these big eclipses that we just had, it took us to that whole new vibration. That whole new thing where we're no longer drowning. And I've told you many times in the past that all of our current systems, everything has to crash. Has to. You know, if you want a new car, sometimes you got to destroy the old car to get a new car. That was a bad metaphor, but all systems are going to crash. Think of a building. That's actually a better metaphor. If the building falls, we have to rebuild it, and we need to build it stronger and better. Not make the same mistakes that we made prior that caused the building to collapse. That's everything on our planet, friends. The infrastructures, the way we get our water, the way we dispose of our trash. All of it has to crash. And this is part of our journey. This is a big part of our journey. If you hear that noise, it's a darn trash truck out front. So this is a part of our journey that is most challenging. Getting rid of the old, or allowing structures to collapse because we become so used to being within those structures. It's just like home sweet home. And people look at the way the sad people are losing their homes now through storms and weather and climate change. It's sad. So those structures, are coming down, and then we have to rebuild. The cool thing in the future is this is what's going to bring people together. This is what's going to bring community together. This is going to bring us together. And it's basically being forced to do so because that's how we're going to survive. And it's going to come to taking care of one another instead of being like the evildoers and what they want. So I've told you, again, everything's going to crash, and people fear that crash. But that's our journey. The most, again, challenging part of that journey. The fear of the new also is a little bit of a fear that people have until we actually witness how amazing the new is going to be. Because I know that there are other channels, other places on social media, other content providers, even psychics, who want to feed you information or love to feed you information that might be based more on real conspiracies. Now remember, a lot of things were called conspiracy lately have been proven to be real. But there still are those ones that are just crazy conspiracy that's not going to happen. And I know people like that. They like to hear that, unfortunately. But again, I'm all about feeding you the truth and telling you the way things are or the way things are going to be. and helping to inspire you to lift yourself up on new levels, because that's where we're going. We're going. So watch those conspiracy-based predictions is what I'm saying here. Attempting to make it appear like we're going to wake up one day. Some of them make it look like this. That we're all just going to wake up one day and everything's going to be different. It's just going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. We might have epiphanies like that where we wake up one day and our mind shifts completely. That's happened to me a couple times actually since the Sun Players. That's different. But sometimes they make it look like you're going to wake up one day and everything's going to just, one morning you're going to wake up and you're going to see a new earth. It's not going to be quite like that. Not quite. Not quite. But, again, many things, we have to refer to this as a birthing process, just as the natives and the Hopi and the Lakota have told us. It is a birthing process, and Mother Earth is going through labor pains. And we just, only just recently and currently going through those severe labor pains. And it's a long labor, friends. It's that long labor where the mother's like, get this thing out of me already. And then the new great birth that comes afterwards. We have to be logical, too, at the same time. And we must remember that, there's all these different prophecies left behind for us. Whatever those may be, whether it be Edgar Cayce, Nostradamus, again, the Lakota or the Hopi natives, and even the book of Revelation from the Holy Bible. They all kind of basically tell the same story almost, but in a different way or in a different language. And almost, same prophecies written in a different language. Even though it's English, we can read it in English, but it's still written in a different language, a different interpretation that still leads to the same events that are going to happen on our planet. We have to not, a lot of people seem to be ignoring those. And now being so focused on the future Earth and, waking up one day and all of a sudden you're there and forgetting about the labor pains and the labor we're going through to get there. You have to go through labor before the birth comes. And when the birth comes, you're all slimy and gross, right? Got to wash yourself off and start fresh and new. That's basically how things are going. And the prophets, like Edgar Cayce again, the Lakota, look at the Hopi's Blue Star, Red Star Kachina prophecies. Relate very much to things that are mentioned in the book of Revelation. So again, they're just all the same story talked about in a different language. So we're going to look at not all those past prophecies. We're not looking at that. But I'm going to mention some things that are going to happen. Because again, it's a birthing process and going through this labor is never going to be easy. As we would prefer, or as any mother would prefer to have an easy labor. It's not logical, not usually the case. I mean, there are some, but not usually the case. Not our case for the Earth's birth. But remember, with every great challenge comes great rewards. So stay focused on the rewards. And it is basically, we got to say, it's pretty unrealistic to say there's not going to be some gloom and doom along the line. Remember, it's a battery, balance of positive and negative polarity. For now, it may appear, and likely is, that there's much more negative polarity than there is positive polarity. No doubt. It's a reality. It's a reality of our times. It's being realistic. But this is all changing, totally changing. This is changing big time. Therefore, we often do discuss what some scream is doom and gloom. We have to, because without going through these patches, these rough patches, these labor pains, we're not going to be able to move forward onto this amazing new earth that lies ahead, not far off in the future. It's just realistic. You've got to be realistic. Never underestimate, at the same time, the amazing universe that we live in and the awesome possibilities. Because I learned myself through decades of mediumship and spirit communication that even those things that I believed to be impossible, spirit in my face made it possible. So I don't believe in the impossible. The universe can make anything happen. And we humans constantly limit ourselves from our possibilities. This too is going to end soon too. I teach that in my Transform into Abundance class, how folks limit their possibilities. We say words that sabotage us, like can't, don't, wouldn't, shouldn't, couldn't, and we constantly sabotage ourselves. Or we say that's not possible, or, that's your fate and destiny. Fate and destiny can change. Your fate and destiny is in your own hands. Your thoughts and words are the blueprints to your future, friends. And I had somebody say that last week. What would they say? I'm leaving your channel. It's all gloom and doom. That's actually false. I put good stuff in every week. We are going through a time on the planet where there's a lot of gloom and doom, and we have to talk about it. We can't ignore it. You can ignore it if you want. And, I did last year a video, top 10 positive predictions, and guess what? It only got half the views of any of my other videos. So, and if you make that decision, decide to leave, you don't have to announce it in the comments. Just please don't. Let's just stay on a positive note here. Don't announce it. Just move on and grow and inspire and be well. So, again, never underestimate our universe at all, because she and he and they are amazing. And I learned the hard way myself. Again, everything is possible. So humans are slowly stepping into our power. I did a meditation earlier this year, calling your power back. Go back and check that meditation out. You should do that consistently. I do that in my Transform into Abundance class with students. We do it every week, calling back your power. Every week in class, and I recommend doing it every day. Take you 5-10 minutes to do that meditation every day. I'll make sure a link pops up above for calling your power back so that you can check out that meditation for yourself. Humans are slowly stepping into their power. We're finally calling our power back, which is going to open up amazing doors to our potential in the future. It also is going to be a little bit of a slow process, so we have to be patient. But also at the same time, all of a sudden it's going to be quick and sneaky. So little quick and sneaky things are going to happen. It's going to be really interesting. This is, universe's process in awakening humanity to the highest vibrations. So, sometimes it's going to seem slow. Sometimes it's going to be quick and sneaky. And again, you'll wake up one day thinking a little differently. You're not going to wake up and all of a sudden be on this new earth. It's a slow process. It would be too overwhelming if that happened that way. We have to slowly be recalibrated with our DNA and just our energies, our vibrations. All that needs to change. And it can't change overnight because it would be shocking. We wouldn't survive that. It has to be a slow process because the new earth is a different vibration. And our current vibrations will not vibrate. We'd be gone. It wouldn't work. So it's, again, a process that's going to take. And it's going to happen quick but slow. It feels slow, but it's going to be quick. Before you know it, you're going to look back and be like, wow, I can't believe we're here. I never thought I'd be a part of this new earth. Holy moly, wow, how amazing is this? So, again, just be patient with it because humanity is moving into the highest vibrations. This is happening and has been happening for quite some time. It's been intensified since 2020. Remember 2020 vision represented our vision opening up, and look at how many people woke up in 2020. They tried to kick in our faces their little pandemic, which backfired on them. It backfired in the aspect that it woke up masses like never before. They didn't expect that. They expected people to remain sleepers. So every time they pull one of their crazy psychopathic events, it awakens people on another level. So you got to look at the positive. These bad things, these gloomy, doomy things that happen, wake people up on another level. That is God. That is our divine creator making these things happen to wake people up. It's part of the process. And even though the evildoers are causing some of these things, again, behind the whole thing is still God, the divine, slowly taking them down, making them, the evil ones, think that they're getting ahead, but no, they're falling behind. And soon they'll fall completely off the edge of the mountain. It'll be exciting to witness that. But that's part of the shocking things that are going to come. That some might say are gloom and doom. I think it's quite exciting when we see massive arrests of people. We see all the little ones caught up in traffic being rescued and all the underground things that are underneath our feet being revealed. That's exciting. How is that gloomy and doomy? I find it's gloomy and doomy for the evildoers, of course. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, moving right along. So, 2020 helped wake up the masses, and it's just going to continue. And the more important thing is that we need to stop limiting ourselves. And in the future, very near future, I'd say by 2030, we're not limiting ourselves anymore. Many of us are already starting not to limit ourselves. I've been doing that for 10 years and now teach it to others. Stop limiting your possibilities. Watch those thoughts, watch those words, and also remember these events are going to happen. These events are not happening to you. They're not happening to us. These events are happening for us. That's the difference. Again, remember that. Really important. These events are not happening to you, to us, but they're happening for us and for the greater good of humanity. So let's move on to frequencies. Frequencies and vibration play a very important role in everything in the universe. Everything has a vibration. Everything has a frequency. And it is a beginning now, just beginning with this amazing frequency breakthroughs that are happening already. But there's much bigger ones coming through in the future. We know very little about the magic and power that actually lies within frequencies. It's being discovered now, but for generations, for decades, we have not realized the power. It got lost during the last civilizations of Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, and now it's all coming back. The power of frequencies. And you got to remember, like I said earlier, you got to take the bad with the good. And currently, there are no doubt frequencies that are being used against us and against our planet. No doubt about it. It's the truth. And we speak truth here. So, like the anomaly that was just caught on the radar systems coming out of the Arctic, off that little island, up in the Atlantic, the coast of Africa. You know, we've talked about it. It's been viral all over the internet now lately. Just happened again, right? What exactly is happening with that? I talked a little bit about that last week. Why would they do such a thing? Anyway, why would they do such a thing? Well, let's not attempt to see what's going through the minds of those psychopaths. You don't want to go in those minds. But I can assure you, the frequency technology that they are using is meant to create massive hurricanes. Massive, massive hurricanes. You remember a year or two ago, I had a vision. And, you know, sometimes predictions take 2, sometimes 3 years to come into fruition. I had a prediction of the most massive hurricane, that was unimaginable size. And that hasn't happened yet so far. I have no doubt that's coming. If not this year, definitely next year. And it'd be about 2-3 years. So that's about right with some of my predictions coming into fruition. So that's what they're doing on the negative aspect with frequencies. Using it to control things and vibrations, heating up the oceans and whatever else. To make it appear like what they're saying is actually happening when it is happening, but they're just making it look more intense. It's all part of the evildoers' plan. And so come summertime, we're going to really see, not even summer, the autumn, the fall months, say from late August till November, all the way into November. We're going to see some crazy things and flashbacks to Hurricane Sandy, actually. Spirit showed me. Remember, Hurricane Sandy hit on October 29th. October 29th. 29 is an 11 day. 9 plus 2 is an 11. The 11th and 29th of a month is when if a storm's coming, you better take shelter, because if it's touching ground on the 11th or 29th, it's going to be a doozy. So many. Katrina, Sandy, and just so many others have came in on an 11 day. So I'd say I would expect that there could be something really big on October 29th. Maybe even around October 11th. October is going to be a doozy month. That's when they're really going to be turning up the pressure on their pressure tanks, so to speak. So I can also assure you that frequency technology that they are using, again, besides massive earthquakes, could also be being used to manipulate people's minds, like MK Ultra, sort of, but differently. Different frequencies that are being put out from towers. So how do you stop yourself from being affected by that? And it's not happening everywhere. They're testing it, is more like it, is what Spirit shows me. One thing is they do have hats you can wear, tinfoil hats. They're not really tinfoil. They look like baseball caps, but they're Faraday cage hats. I got to get one of them. Actually, I got to find a Faraday hat sponsor for my show. That's what I need. Sponsors for the show. We put that out to the spirit peoples. Yes. So remember that time period. I feel like that's what they're doing down there in the Arctic and the frequencies. And we're on the future Earth. I'm still, I'm going back and forth with this. So you got to hear me out. You got to listen to the whole show. Don't jump to conclusions like that girl did last week. Oh, you're all doom and gloom. You didn't listen to the whole show, obviously. Obviously. And I know sometimes you got to listen in pieces. I do that. I probably have 3 different podcasts opened up on my browser that I watch in increments because I'm busy guy, and I just listen here and I listen a little bit here and a little bit there, but I make sure I listen to it all. If it's something that, of course, piques my interest. So Spirit warns to watch for storms that make sudden turns, just like Hurricane Sandy did, if you recall, which I said back then in my predictions. They said, oh, she's going to go up the coast. I'm like, she's going to smack right into the coast right on the 29th, and she did. I remember that. We didn't have power for like 10 days, and I was in Pennsylvania. I have clients, friends, and all kinds of folks that have just lost everything in Hurricane Sandy. It was very, very sad. But again, Spirit says watch for storms that make sudden turns, because that's part of the frequencies that they use. They use frequencies to push things in a direction that they wanted to go in. And they're testing this different types of frequencies. Now, on a positive note, I see frequencies being tested, and have been already, but really being tested on different types of healing. We already know that there's certain frequencies that shrink tumors, and even certain frequencies that are able to lift objects into the air to cause anti-gravity effects. So people are onto this now, but they haven't got completely all of the wisdom, all the knowledge put together, but it's going to be put together. This is going to be exciting. And this is actually, and I know this, but Spirit, again, touched base on it. The pyramids and all the ancient pyramids that were built, they were built with frequencies, using frequencies. And I expect to see major frequency breakthroughs this year, and more so in 2025. Really exciting things coming with frequency. And I know I'm a part in the future of the future healing centers. It's one of my goals out here eventually to buy the land and build this amazing healing retreat center, but medically based too, of course. And I know, because Spirit's been showing me visions of what we're using in this future center that I get the honor of being a part of. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. They showed me we're using frequencies. And, I know there's the med beds that they have. I talked about this before, but Spirit said about a month or two ago, if you recall in predictions, that there's something different than that that's not available yet, that nobody knows about. It's like a med bed, but it's much more evolved than the med bed. So I see that, and here's the best part is natural medicines. Back to the natural way of doing things. I look forward to when people, again, are forced to come together and we start rebuilding communities. And in the evening, we're sitting around the fire. The elders are telling stories to the kids. We're singing and dancing. And that's the future Earth. Exciting. Going back to tribes. Except it won't be like specifically like one native tribe, or we'll say like Lakota or what have you. Well, our tribes will be mixed. It won't be one race. That's what I was saying. It won't be one race tribe. It'll be tribes of all different people, including galactic people, which will be really, really interesting. Galactic in our I had a vision, was it this morning, of me dancing with intergalactical people. And it reminded me of Star Wars when they go into the bar. It totally reminded me of that. And that was a vision, and it was just popped in my brain. I'm like, now that's interesting. That would be fun. All right. And then Spirit loves to joke with me and say, well, maybe you already do that when you're sleeping at night. I probably do. I know I've been taken a few times. No doubt about that. I've told you that story. That's in my Bradshaw Ranch videos going back to 2020. Yeah, remember that? They were following me in their black SUVs. Creepy stuff, friends. Creepy stuff. So Spirit warns to watch again storms that make sudden turns like Hurricane Sandy. And at the same time, we're seeing frequencies again being tested on all types of different types of healing. And in the future, the way they built the pyramids, that'll all come out, because I have a prediction revolved around pyramids coming up for you in a little bit. That's quite exciting as well. Future pyramids. Future pyramids. So remember, big breakthroughs with frequency technologies this year and into 2025. The future Earth uses frequency along with other natural medicines to cure a majority of the illnesses and diseases that we have now. And when we get to into the future Earth, a few decades into it, there won't be disease or illness anymore. We'll eradicate it quickly once we get to the new Earth. We also must remember that we all vibrate with a frequency, right? So perhaps you have you ever witnessed, you see it online, social media, where they take I would love to have one of these machines. I don't know what the machine is, but they take the little clips and they clip it onto, say, the leaf of a tree or a flower, and then it starts to play actual music. It actually literally taps into the vibration of the plant, the tree, the flower, or whatever they hook it up to, and it has its own specific vibration and sound frequency. There's, again, sound is still a frequency. Some frequencies we can't hear with our regular ears. That's the ones that the governments like to use, the ones you can't hear with your regular ears. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But Spirit says, don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. It'll only affect you if you allow it to affect you. Just stay in the right mind, meditate, stay connected to the earth, and you'll be fine. Nothing to fear but fear itself. So this is going to assist the stuff scientists were showing with the clips. This is going to assist in creating types of healing through different plants without us ingesting the plant. See what I'm saying? Different vibrational tones that are put off by plants, flowers, and even different animals and species in the sea, because let me tell you, the sea is where all the magic really is going to be. Those frequencies added together, like say we take a frequency from the otter, the rose, and the pine tree. I'm just throwing something out there. And we put all three of those frequencies together and find out that it literally eradicates Parkinson's disease. All right. Now, whatever I just said just slipped out of my mouth, so that would be interesting. Maybe we should go try that. What did I say? I said the otter, the pine tree, and the rose. That would be pretty wild. Does anybody know anybody with one of them machines? We can tap into those three frequencies and try it. I'd love to try that. That'd be really, really, really wild. See, again, the future is really exciting. So the beautiful harmonies in the future, all this stuff, the trees, the animals, all these things are going to assist us in orchestrating a new vibrational tone and new types of music that we listen to that isn't coming from humans, but is coming from around us. The music, the true music of the forest. Let's move on to the spiritual war that's happening in manifesting energies, because the law of attraction is important. There obviously has been, for quite some time, a very big, very dark spiritual war going on around us in another dimension, and even on our physical plane, for quite some time now. This spiritual war, we can say, is metaphorically, we call it spiritual war, is about to go nuclear, metaphorically. It's about to, again, blow big time, the spiritual war. So the things that we see, the churches, the religions, the organized religions we see now will cease to exist on the new earth. We'll be spiritually connected. So, and everybody will be on the same vibration. So there won't be, and I'll give you an example. Again, metaphorically, it's like all of a sudden the whole planet becomes devout Christian, right? Sort of like that. But it'll be more spiritually grounded and connected, utilizing all cultures and all ancient structures. It's going to be very, very interesting. So this spiritual war, again, Spirit says, is about to go nuclear. Just to throw this out there, because I know there are some of you right now asking, because I said that word, the N-U-K-E word, you're probably asking in your minds now, should we be worried about a nuclear conflict in the future? And Spirit says, take a deep breath of relief, there are actually worse weapons than that. It's the first thing Spirit told me. They're worried about nukes. There's worse things than that out there. They should be worried about, not even worried about, let me rephrase that. But there's worse things out there to worry about if there were to worry than just nukes. So I thought that was interesting. And believe it or not, I don't feel like they're going to be used. Nukes aren't going to be used. And if it is, it's just a small one. And it's going to be more accidental to wake people up. But I don't see a nuclear holocaust taking place on this planet. Thank God for that. And I know some other people think that or might know that, but I assure you that's not going to happen. They're not going to be used anytime in the near future, according to Spirit. And I was also told by Spirit, thankfully, it will be stopped if they try. Stopped by the divine creator in some amazing way. And we've seen how UFOs deactivated nuclear warheads. So, it's not going to happen, friends. Not going to happen. And like I said, if it's something small being released by, not from a missile, but from somebody leaving it there. And I don't think it's actually nuclear. I think it's more related to something more biological. And again, nothing to worry about right now. Let's talk about the good stuff. So sadly, I do report that there is going to be, and again, got to take the bad with the good. And this is mostly good, but you got to take the bad with the good. People are trying to ignore it and again say we're going to wake up one day on this new earth next week or next year. Not quite. Too many other prophecies have to come into fruition first, friends. So sadly, I do report that there is going to be a great world conflict. I believe it's already started, actually. Even though there's, 4 countries right now, 4 different conflicts, 8 countries, I guess it would be in all, going on in the world. It's already happening. It's already happening. It's a different type of conflict. And we're going to see that different type of conflict because it's going to be mostly going to be based on cyber attacks and nailing people's infrastructure through those aspects. Again, nothing to worry about. These are wake-up calls. For example, if they were to hack into somebody's water system, it's a wake-up call for that municipal to get their security down pat. These are all wake-up calls, friends. All wake-up calls. And also a wake-up call to do something different with the way we get our water. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yes, unfortunately, there will be and is already currently a great world conflict. WW3. So this is also spoken about in many of the prophecies, friends. And so we know this has got to happen. It's in every prophecy, but it's just written differently. Like I said, same prophecy, different language. This is all there. This along with the major shifts in our land masses and in our climates, which is, again, happening. The future Earth looks completely different than what our Earth looks like now. And how? Well, in the way of maps. Because maps of the world are going to totally have to be rewritten. So, and if you have an old map from the future, hold on to them tight. They're the treasures that if you can get it to last you to the new Earth, those will be worth some money over there in the new Earth. Hey, look at the way the Earth used to be, for the future classrooms. So kids be like, yeah, that's where I used to live right there, but that's underwater now. Or maybe it's higher up, maybe it's a mountain. Your land all of a sudden rises up and you become a mountain. That can be a very strong potential too. But Spirit showed me, and I've known this for a long time, that the maps are going to be rewritten, territories are going to be claimed, and new nations are going to be formed. New territories will be claimed, and new nations will be formed. And new territories being claimed, like when things start rising out of the ocean, there's going to be, again, who's going to take that land? Again, new territory being claimed, new nations being formed. Remember my vision of the United States in the future being broken up into different nations. Different things, and we might think that's a bad thing, but if we hold in the light that it's a good thing, and for the good of all, it will be, and it will be, no doubt. Hey, and if you're, want to know about the future maps of the Earth and what's happening in the future, a little bit more information about the billionaire bunkers, which ain't going to do them any good. I did a channeled message from Mother Earth years ago, like 10 years ago. I'll try to dig it up and put a link up above if I recall. I will definitely try to do that. And I remember Mother Earth saying in that message that they can hide in their bunkers, but they'll be buried in those bunkers. So, interesting. I'm going to find that and play it. That's an old one. I should redo it, actually. Redo that channel message and put it out in a new video. That's an idea. That's a really good idea. So yeah, new maps, new things, new nations, and the great conflicts globally will bring about actually amazing things. I know it don't look amazing. Conflict's awful, especially the lives that are taken because of the conflicts. But in the long run, Spirit says it's going to bring about amazing things. It's just the rough road that we take to reach this golden road in the future. It's like, we're on all the pothole road and the dirt road with potholes, and we got to drive around. It's like driving in the canyons here. Got to drive up on the edge of the road to get around, until we actually finally get flat golden surface road. It'll be nice. It'll be amazing. We're also going to see a lot of UFO landings taking place, and this is even more exciting. I've been asking for this. I should watch what I wish for, huh? But I've been asking spirits and those who have taken me in the past to allow me to have open dialogue with different galactic beings. And I don't mean channel them through. I mean like an open dialogue, like, hey, you know, what you got to share with me? We're going to see that. Open dialogue with galactic beings during, Spirit said, during and as the great conflict comes to a close. So I already feel like that great WW3 is already happening. I feel like it's there, but we're not in the middle of it. We're not even in the real true beginning of it. When we're in the middle of it and as we're coming out of it is when we're going to see these dialogues come about with galactic beings and UFOs landing in different places, right in the middle of a city, letting us know that they're there. Clear as a bell to the point that the government can't cover it up because it's everybody in the whole damn city. Millions of people are going to see it. So that's going to be amazing. We'll see some of that within the next year, Spirit said. Close up and personal. Not the dialogue part, but the close up and personal. And I keep telling my galactic friends that listen, I'm ready to have dialogue and share it with my subscribers. So let's put that out to the universe. I also told them that they can't take me without me consciously knowing about it anymore. I'm tired of that. Nope. If you want to take me, you don't have my permission unless I am consciously aware of what's going on. So far, they haven't listened to me. But let's move on. So, yeah, so open dialogue with the galactic alien people. We call them aliens, but we're aliens too, friends. We are aliens too. And most of them look just like us. So, just a little different features. So it will be more Mother Earth that's actually going to be the one that stops the world conflict. She is going to shake up people. She is going to spark the light in dark, evil leaders. Like literally all of a sudden, like Jesus opens up their heart one day, even though they're evil and bombing other people or countries or whatever. But Spirit says that a spark of light is going to hit them. A spark of light. And humanity, when this happens, is going to shift into an amazing level of consciousness. The consciousness that is better known as the Jesus consciousness. And that, to me, is the return of Jesus Christ to planet Earth, is the consciousness. Because we're evolving, and we're going to have communication with other interdimensional beings. We need to be a part of the universe, and we're just a part of our little old Earth. Whereas all those in the universe are connected with each other. So eventually, the Earthlings are going to become a part of that universal connected collective. The universe collective. That is going to be pretty freaking awesome, friends. Like, really awesome. And awesome stuff's going to come from that. I got a lot more to tell you. It's going to be a long episode today. So one thing I'm noticing, and yes, I do teach courses on this, and I have been utilizing the law of attraction for over a decade, but I still notice, Spirit confirms, it's going to become actually easier and easier for us to manifest our dreams and desires. I also add caution here, a little bit of caution, because, watch what you wish for, because you're going to end up getting it. Because we also have to take the good with the bad, too. Remember, take the good with the bad. Take the good to take the bad, you take the both, and there you have the facts of life. The balance of the battery, friends, the balance of the battery. So we're going to see, people are going to manifest negative things into their lives, unfortunately, because the law of attraction is going to become so powerful and so easy for us to manifest that whatever your thoughts and words, again, are the blueprints of your futures. So start focusing again, as I tell you all the time, almost every week, focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. Forget about all that other stuff. Stay focused very clearly on your dreams and aspirations, and that will become the reality. What about the future of our power structure? Future power is going to be generated in several ways, actually. We will no longer see nuclear plants in the not-so-distant future. They will also be shut down. They'll, of course, be shut down. They're going to need to when the Earth starts shifting. Look at what happened to Japan on March 11th, 2011 with their Fukushima plant. So they're going to have to shut them down. But that's not going to be the main reason. The main reason is going to be due to better technology. There's going to be better technology, and they are, I don't know how, but they're somehow, Spirit showed, they're going to be able to learn to deactivate any threats from nuclear meltdown or issues from these plants that are being shut down. And even knockdown. And you can't knock down the plant unless you get rid of the nuclear fusion, right? Spirit says there's going to be a way for them to do that really easily. And somehow they're going to be able to safely remove the nuclear fusion, and perhaps, likely, they're going to take the remains off to a distant planet. So that's the other thing, like such as the moon. I don't know where, but it's like they're taking it somewhere else. They're taking it away from here. Spirit shows like there's literally like almost like a universe garbage disposal where we can get rid of these things safely. It's out of harm of everybody. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. The energy that powers up the new Earth is very much based on Tesla's free energy, of course, but much more evolved, using a combination of the Earth's natural energies, ancient technology that we learned to use for the planet instead of being hogged up by the governments, because some of this actually exists already, friends. I even see amazing discoveries in the use of seawater. Seawater is going to be, the sea is, friends, the ocean is really, all life comes from the sea. Yeah, that's where all the cures and all that stuff's hidden in our seas. It's going to be amazing, the things we discover in the oceans. Big time. And again, I'm talking with cures for diseases through new species that are going to be discovered and so forth. Somehow I see the salty water, they're going to somehow find technology that generates energy from the salty water. But at the same time, this technology is going to turn the ocean's salty water into fresh water. Now, I know they already have what do they call them? Desaltation plants or whatever. I know that Elon Musk put one in Africa. You think he'd put one other places that need it. But no, he took care of his people, where he came from. And they say the reason that we don't do this is because it takes way too much energy to produce water from the salt water. And then after they do that, they can take all that salt and utilize that salt, maybe sell the salt. I don't know, but do something with the salt. I'm talking about now, not the new Earth. But when we get to the new Earth, Spirit says there's going to be technology that not only generates its own energy and extra energy, like, I guess you could go plug into it, and also filtering the water. And we'll see these all over the place. Also, seawater is going to be used in healing. Almost like being put in IV fluid. Or maybe it is. Wonder what the hell that would work out. Interesting. But seawater can cleanse the body. For your body is salt water, says Spirit. Oh, interesting. So the energy that powers the new Earth is going to be really amazing, friends. Really amazing. And seeing, the waters, it's all going to be amazing. Now, the military already honed in on several different pieces of ancient technology. Ancient technology that still runs like it's brand new. All of a sudden they discover this technology and it's still running like it was tens of thousands of years ago or however long ago. That's what Spirit showed me, like brand new. And there's still some that hasn't been discovered. And when it is, it's going to appear like it's brand new and still running. Some type of new ancient technologies, of course, have been hidden from us for God only knows how long. Going back to right before, during, and right after World War II. That was a big time where many of these things were discovered. And of course, it was up in the Arctic where some of these things were discovered. There's also ancient technology buried in Egypt, some which they know of, some they have not yet found. And there's even some type of frequency generator buried beneath the mesa at Skinwalker Ranch. If you ever watched Skinwalker, the Mysteries of Skinwalker Ranch. That's part of the technologies that are buried there. That's why the government left. They know what's there. They know exactly what's there. And if you watch that show, there's always, it's a no-fly zone, but all of a sudden there's military helicopters or planes flying above the ranch when they're doing tests. Okay, because the government knows they're going to figure it out, and when they do, they're going to come in and shut the whole thing down because they don't want anybody else to know, which is just so unbelievable. And it's all, again, about money. Because with free energy, of course, they can't charge you for energy. It would put so many things out of business. The oil companies, everything, the electric companies, the battery companies. We don't need any of that. It's all polluting our Earth. The Earth gives us everything we need. Everything is on our planet. The cures for every disease and illness, all the things we need to put in our bodies, all the things to generate electric energy, water, or whatever. It's all here. It's all here. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what is unmasked in places like Skinwalker Ranch in Utah or Oak Island up there near Canada in Canada. They're going to discover some stuff there. But let us move on to the next subject, the magic of the skies above, friends. Friends, the new earth and all the things that are ahead of us are so amazing that I didn't realize by the time I was done chattering about it, I spent more than 2 hours of time. So therefore, I'm going to cut this episode into 2 separate parts. Because most people are going to watch it in 2 separate parts anyway, and it's over 2 hours long. That'll also give me a little bit more time to add some more information into this episode. So tomorrow, I'm going to talk about the future power structure, the magic of the sky. Oh, we just talked about that. This magic of the skies above is the next topic. Wild discoveries, friends. Wild discoveries. Future travel. How are we going to be traveling in the future? And even more importantly, how are we in the way of health when it comes to the future? Are we healthy? What are the new healing technologies that are coming our way? I'm telling you, they're mind-blowing, friends. Things that you would have never even thought of or expected. Some, yes, but some definitely not at all. The power of water and the water wars. And some of the other subjects that we talked about. Hollywood, the future of mental health. I'm going to also touch base on, in the future, people don't smoke. I'm going to mention a little bit more about Oak Island. And being that I have time to add this in because I cut it short, still not realizing it was more than 2 hours long, I'll even talk about Princess Kate. And I will get these uploaded into 2 separate videos. So therefore, I'll have part 2 will premiere on Wednesday. So I think it'll be better that way than it'll take too long to upload 2-hour show. So 2 parts this week, I think will be best. So I'll see you tomorrow again. And then I'll see you Thursday for June predictions. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you for hanging out for this episode of Tittle of Tea Time. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for the love and support. Thank you for showing your love by smashing that love button. That's the thumbs up button down below. Share this with people on social media. Let people know how amazing the new earth is. And don't miss part 2, because part 2 is going to be even way better than part 1. So I'll see you tomorrow, friends. Remember, till then, celebrate life, celebrate you. Be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. And remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Because you are amazing and you deserve to allow your light to shine. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste and much love, friends. Much love. Much love.